Hello, Alberto. Hello, Sal. Oh, Fidel, good to see you here too.
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing, Fidel?
Oh, good. How are you?
Well, thank you. I'm doing well.
How is Crane doing?
Glenn is doing well. He's doing very
Oh,
well.
good.
Yeah. He had a rough go in October, November, December, but he's doing really well now.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah. He's doing very well now. Good.
Swadika ทุกคนค่ะ
Sawadika
สวัสดีครับอาจารย์
Tanadam.
ครับ
สวัสดีครับ Hello, everybody.
Good. Well, welcome everybody. Another discussion to happen. Sarah is with us, and I think Jonathan too, although they've got some workmen in their unit, so they will. We won't see their video is turned off, but their audio is on. So they're definitely with us. Does anyone have something they want to start with? No. Something we talked about late last week was Sanya Sanya Vipalasa. And that is taking, that is a distortion that is not, I can't say this well at the moment. Memory is John, can you talk about it a bit, please? I'm sorry, I can't find words at the moment.
That's why you have to understand what memory is. Now, what is that? Something. Is it because of memory that it conditioned the idea of something there too? So whatever appears, Chitta, the chief of experiencing only the characteristic of that object clearer than the other reality which experience object like Cetasika. That's why Chitta can never be Cetasika. But at that very moment of whatever is there, experience, there is a reality which arises with Chitta, which marks and remember that which appears. That's why whatever is seen, right? Sanya is there. Memory is there, just marks that characteristic. So we remember, the moment of remember, what is that? It's not anyone, only the function of Sanya. That's why Buddha said all dhammas, it means that nobody at all. Whatever is real is conditioned to appear, to arise and appear as a reality. But Sanya marks it as something, vipalasa, all the time. That's why when we talk about a reality, we talk about just one reality at a time. Now we are talking about Sanya, not Chitta, not Lopa, but that which is now marking, remembering what is seen, on and on and on. That's why this reality arises with each moment of Chitta, and it conditions Chitta, and Chitta conditions it. That's why it is Sahachata Pachaya, arising together, but different characteristic, different reality, each condition the other at moment when it's there arising. Now,
I'm sorry, go ahead, John, please.
so what is seen, Sanya marks and remember it as something. So that is the idea of something there all the time, because not understanding the absolute truth of that which is no one is conditioned just to experience the object as a chief, or experience the object with remembering what is there. From moment to moment, they are all Chitta and Cetasikas. Otherwise, nothing can condition right understanding of the truth, the absolute truth of what is there now as it is. If we don't talk about sanya, how can there be the understanding of no I who remembers? No one there at all. It's only a reality arising, experiencing what Chitta experienced at the same moment, but its function is to mark and remember. That's why Chitta does not mark or remember anything. It just experiences what is there clear than the other reality which arise together. That is the function of Chitta. That's why there is seeing. We talk about Chitta. There's hearing. We talk about Chitta. But we don't talk about Sanya and other reality. Even it's there. It's not known just right now. If we don't talk about Sanya, who knows that it's there, a reality, experiencing the object by way of remembering, marking what is that as something.
When seeing arises, there will be sanya arising as a cetasika with seeing. And at that point, seeing just sees a reality. The sanya then does not, is that where the distortion begins? Because I somehow thought at that stage, just seeing that sanya would mark and remember just the seeing, or, well, it's just seeing.
That which
But
is seen,
that which is
because
seen, okay,
experience the object, which Chitta is the chief of experiencing that object. So
right.
Sanya which arises with Chitta marks and remember it.
But
They
it,
do not as they are.
I'm sorry, John, what did you say? We don't remember them as they are?
Pardon?
I'm sorry, I missed something you said just a minute ago.
If we don't talk about Sanya, who knows? There is seeing, that's all. But what is seeing? Seeing is a reality which sees. But who knows that there are other mental realities arising together with Chitta. And they are different ones, like Sanya is the reality which arises to mark and remember what is seen as shape and form and so on, depending on what Chitta is there. And there's feeling too. And feeling is another one reality. It does not mark, it does not experience as a chief, but it feels. The feeling is there towards that object which is experienced. That's why there must be at least 7 Jessica arising with Chitta. And those Chitta who have these 7 Jessica arising with it, with them, are only 10. The seeing, consciousness, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, that's all. One is kusala vipaka, the result of kusala, and the other is akusala vipaka, the result to condition the moment of arising to experience only that object, pleasant or unpleasant, according to karma, and so on. So now we learn to understand what is there, which we take for I all the time from head to toe, and also that which experiences too. Otherwise, there must be the idea of something with ignorance from life to life, eons and eons ago. So the enlightenment of the Buddha is the enlightenment of the truth of this very moment. And this moment is not previous one, it's not the next one, but it is always this, when it's there, when the other has fallen away. Now, life which hasn't been known as no one at all, it's not that if there is no hearing about the absolute truth, but the accumulation of ignorance and wrong understanding, so long, conditioned moment of not understanding what is there. Just it sees and then it remembers and then it likes and so on. In life, from moment of birth to death. But the truth is that what is meant by enlightenment, it is the understanding, the absolute truth, so clear that it can eradicate the ignorance and the wrong understanding which has been accumulated years and years ago until now. And if there's no understanding, little by little, stage by stage, how can each moment will be eradicated completely, absolutely, never to arise again? And there is the enlightenment of the truth only, which can condition such moment of no more ignorance and wrong understanding of that which is now appearing anymore. From then on, just different one who had lot of akusla to be cleaned up, and then there is no doubt about what is the truth, the absolute truth of what is there now. So just learn to understand life, to understand that actually, is it I who see? It's gone. Is it I who hear? It's gone. Everything is just like that, uncontrollable. No one can change because they are all conditioned Dhamma. It means that whatever arises has its proper conditions for its arising. And the condition for whatever arises is not just one condition. Many, many conditions, like seeing now. Who can select the object of seeing? It has a reason by conditions. Kamma, condition the eye base, the rupa, which the visible object can contact, and it is one factor for citta to arise to see, just to arise to see. What is that? Before seeing, there's no seeing. But as soon as there is the birth consciousness, it's no one. It's that which is conditioned to arise together by, now we can say karma, because everyone understands that as just a reality. And the cetana, volition is there, which condition each moment of deeds and speech, which is right or wrong, kusala or akusala, which is a condition for this moment of seeing, this moment of touching. So very, very short, very brief, just then gone, unnoticeable, no attention to that. So there's no understanding of the truth of what is there now from moment to moment. Because in life, what can be arise, that can be known, is only seeing, right? Not citta before it or citta after it. And hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and then just thinking. Six ways. Sense door, five senses door, and mind door. Every moment. And in truth, what arises more? From the enlightened one, from his teaching, from his enlightenment, mind door follows the sense door. So soon and more than just one process of sense door. But the world does not appear as that at all, because the succession of thinking cannot be seen or heard. But what appears now is that which is seen, that which is heard, that which is touched. So the mental, the mind ball, does not appear at all. In fact, what is the absolute truth? What doorway appears more? Is there more? Even it does not appear now, but it's there more. That's why the world, which is experienced now, is not the world of the absolute truth. It's just the world of the succession of the arising and falling away of the five doors way. So very close from moment to moment, from eye door to ear door and to sense door and mind door in between. That's why learn to understand the truth. No one who is learning, but there are conditions for right understanding of that which appears, begin to understand what is that is not as it is. There appears many things in the world, the whole world, the star, the moon, and so on. But in fact, in truth, only one moment of experiencing an object, whether it's this doorway or that doorway, that's all. from moment to moment until death, and then born again, die again, on and on, non-stop, by conditions. As long as there are conditions for whatever arises, it has to arise. No one can stop. For example, anger, attachment, who direct it to arise? Impossible, it's there. That's why to understand the truth is understand what is there when it has arisen by conditions only. When it appears just one reality at a time. So imagine what is the truth, what is the true world, not just like many people and stars and stories, but just a moment of that which arises to experience only one object at a time. So very, very rapidly, just like opens one's eyes, everything is there. But in truth, just close the eyes. Whereas all that appears gone, only when there is moment of opening one's eye again, it's there again. So what is the truth? No understanding of anything at all until hearing the truth of it and begin to study. And no one who understands it's a reality which is conditioned for a moment of hearing on and on and on, studying it carefully, wisely. It develops little by little before any wrong understanding at moment of seeing, hearing, smelling as I or thing completely eradicated. But the word goes on as usual, but the understand the truth of what is there from moment to moment. Now we're talking about sanya, and sanya is there unknown. And if we don't talk about it all, how can there be the eradication of sanya as it's not permanent? So it cannot be my sanya, and what is experienced cannot be taken for permanent thing at all.
So that is the vipalat, the wrong understanding, the wrong remembrance of things and people and self.
That's why from considering wisely, there can be the beginning of understanding what is there in words until right understanding is developed strong enough to understand the characteristic which we are talking about right then by conditions. Without hearing, considering what can condition moment of understanding, what is that which appears at moment of touching, not my finger, not the pillow, not anything at all. Its own hardness is there. So it's experience to the body sense. Understanding the truth can understand what Buddha said in details about everything. Because the truth about ayatana is there now. The truth of paticcasamuppada is there now. The truth of dhatu is there now. Just to understand the truth of it. But it's impossible for anyone to just understand it by oneself or one's own idea, because it's not the enlightenment which has to be developed eons and eons and eons ago to become the enlightened one, to have so great compassion, to share his understanding with the others, to have them not to go down deeper and deeper each moment of ignorance, so very deep, before one can come up down there little by little to understand what is there as it is. But by understanding the truth little by little, confidence of the truth, which in Pali is parami, atidana varami, very firm about the truth. That it's so very subtle. This conditioned moment of study carefully of what it says about it. For example, hardness now. It's there. It cannot be seen. It cannot be heard. It cannot be smelled because it's just been touched only to know its characteristic as hard or soft, heat or cold and so on, only through body sense, because without the body sense, that cannot impinge on it for citta to arise to experience it. Who? Anyone? No one at all. All are conditioned reality. Seeing just arise to see. It cannot experience other thing. Hearing just arise to hear. So what arises to experience hardness and reality through body sense only. Learn to understand the truth. That is pariyatti. With more confidence of the truth will condition the higher or the later or another stage of understanding. It's not just the word, it's all about what is there now. But we touch it with the idea of something because no understanding of the characteristic which appears as no one, nothing at all. It's only hardness. And who conditioned it to arise? No one at all. But it's conditioned by its proper condition to be by kamma or by citta or by uttu or by ahara. That's why without the teachings of the Buddha about the absolute truth, there cannot be the eradication of the ignorance and attachment and other akusala, unwholesome realities. So to be truthful to the truth of what is there now, from moment to moment, can condition moment of beginning to see the value, the precious of understanding the truth. It's there, but who can understand it without the great Panya which has enlightened the truth and taught about what is there now, to be considered, to be understood, that actually life is only a moment, one moment, exists in just a moment, from moment to moment, that's all. And what which has been, which had arisen before, where were they now? Never been found, never arise again. Absolutely, just fall away. Sunyata, understand that. And anatta, nobody can change the way reality is. Is that not true? Because what is born and what born to be, from moment to moment, seeing, hearing, just to be forgotten. It's not as important as when it's there, when they're gone. But now it seems very important, but actually it's gone. Exactly the same each moment. That can condition less and less attachment to idea of me or something. So consider what is right and what is wrong, what is true and what is not true. Otherwise, that cannot be the path leading to experience the truth until it can be moment of enlightenment, Ariya Satya, experiences the impermanence of whatever arises now appearing. It's gone instantly, unknowingly. So it has to be right understanding of what appears as it is. How come while we are talking, they're saying all the time? What conditioned that? So very rapidly by conditions. And this is not the matter that we should hurry to understand it, but to see the subtlety of this very moment. How can it be realized? Just one characteristic at a time, as the way it is, as nimitta, because just one single unit cannot be experienced by way of processes that they have studied. It has to begin with Pavanga before there can be any impingement on any doorway. And by then there must be that which just arises, which knows what is there, but it cannot experience yet, and so on, in details, so very, very rapidly. But it can be understood little by little, and that can be developed, right understanding, different from ignorance, not understand the truth of what is there as it's the moment of experiencing an object by conditions. Who can direct it, condition it? Impossible, because it's there already, seeing right now, thinking right now. They are there. That's why what is there appearing only can be the object of studying, learning to understand its truth, from hearing again and again and again, until it conditions the moment of firm confidence of the truth. Keep on listening, understanding, letting go, naturally, because no one there at all. Just understanding the path, not I, not anyone. That moment of understanding is so very precious in samsara because it can develop little by little, to grow little by little. What for? To understand the truth as it has developed from hearing, considering, from life to life, on and on. Naturally, all are dhammas. Otherwise, all cannot be known if we just think that only someone or something should be the object of understanding. But what is there when there's no understanding? Sanya marks it wrongly. So we understand not I or anyone, it's sanya. And if there's no hearing about sanya, who knows the reality which has the characteristic of its when it arises to just remember, marks what is there as something or nothing. It's only that which is seen. And the daily life can show how much understanding or less understanding than anyone can think that one might think that one knows a lot, but knows what? The truth of that is there to be the proof whether how much understanding, but no one there. And why can't it develop? Because it is developed at moment of hearing about it, little by little.
It's, John, it sounds, if I'm understanding what you've said here, it sounds like sanya and ignorance are significant factors, very significant factors in the taking things for permanent and I as self, people and things.
That's why Buddha classifies sanya and sanyakanda.
Yes. Okay, that's good. Thank you very much, Ajahn.
However, that doesn't mean, as I understand it, that we should expect that sanya itself can become object of awareness and understanding.
Oh, I understand.
I think it's one of those things that is the understanding of conditioned dhammas that helps overcome what you just mentioned, the role that sanya plays in the idea of self, etc.
I'm sorry, Jonathan, I didn't quite get all of that because of your background.
I've got some competition here. I think
Yes,
I'll
you do.
I'll speak later. Sorry about that. I won't try and speak now.
I'm sure if you can hang on to what you just said, that would be wonderful.
Okay, I think it's all quiet now. So what I just said was that although Sanya plays the role that you mentioned in the idea of self-perception. Sorry, another time.
Okay, that's too bad.
We've got three sets of workmen in the flat today for one reason or another. So,
Either well coordinated or unfortunate. I don't know.
Anne, I was just thinking a little bit on the Pali of Vipalasa is composed of three words, if we can call them those, not really words, but prefixes and verbs. We means not, pari means thoroughly all round, and as I believe is the verb to be. So it's to see things thoroughly as they are not in truth.
Yes. Yes.
And that's what Ajahn was essentially saying with her wisdom, that see fact true. Of course, as we know, people and things, Sanya remembers wrongly. That's Vipalasa.
Yes. That's right. I think we've often referred to it, yes, wrongly, and sometimes it's been referred to as distorted. Not
well, that's how it's translated.
Reality.
Yeah, that's how it's translated, and that's true because it literally means that. We pari literally means thoroughly not, or distorted, or perverted, or upside down, or whatever you like to use it. But it's translated in that way.
Yeah, not as it is.
Sorry, I missed that.
Not as it is.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Not as it is in reality. That's what the Vipalasas are.
So we live basically most of the time in the world of Sanya Vipalasa.
Certainly, in a distorted reality.
Yeah.
If we can call that a reality.
Right.
But it's a kind of reality, and many people, of course, that is very real to them. And this is what the great wisdom of the Dhamma. Sorry.
Most people.
Oh, yes. Oh, by far. Most people, 99.9% of people live in this very distorted reality.
Exactly.
And we do too, much of the time.
Sure.
And much of the time. So it's only with, as Ajahn was pointing out, with the wisdom of the Buddha, that we can begin to see something of this incredible delusion that we have concocted. It takes time, incredible patience, and Ajahn again reminds us to attend wisely rather than to be forgetful, as what the Buddha also said in his last words, not to be forgetful of the truth of the present moment, which is so easy to do because of accumulated avijja, accumulated ignorance, which of course supports more of the same thing, which continues that belief that we live in this distorted reality of people and things.
Sure.
And I think it's good to know also that the Sanya Vipalasa, which must arise with ignorance at the root, it's different when it's accompanied by Dithi and when it's not. When it's Dithi, it's also Dithi Vipalasa, and the Sanya Vipalasa remembers what Dithi misunderstands. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, of course. of course. But even without ditthi, realities get taken for people, for things.
The take it depends on what you mean taking for people, because I understand taking for people and things is a function of ditthi.
A function of what? I'm sorry.
The function of ditthi. And we know that when it's a metta, the object is also people, beings, and at that time it's not vipalasa.
Vipalasa, that's right. Yeah.
There can also then be atanuditi, which is taking things for something, which is different to ditti.
Can you explain that, Sundara? Please.
Things for some. Well, atanuditi is one of the, seriously, she's very good on, if she's there, maybe she's not. So my understanding of atanuditi is like we continually taking it for something as opposed to viewing it wrongly. Now, that's not entirely clear upon initial consideration. How do you see something that for something and it can't, and usually, of course, when there will be, John, can you help me with this here? It's a bit tangled up for me. How would you describe the difference, again, between atanuditi and ditthi? Tamajan Cup, are you there?
Oh, yes. Sorry, I got to turn on.
No, never mind, Tamajan. Can you help me here again? The difference between atanuditi and ditthi.
So, what is titi?
Well, we take things wrongly. We view things, we have a fixed, firm belief that things are what they are not.
So
As opposed
it's
to,
right?
sorry, I missed that point. Missed that, John, can you repeat again, please?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly, Tamajan Cup.
Okay. That's why we have to begin with what is titi in order to know when there is titi and when there's no ditthi. That's why what is ditthi? It's moment of wrong understanding, right?
Mm-hmm. Cup.
So usually sanya vipalasa and chitta vipalasa arise with any akusla reality, right? When chitta is akusla, chitta vipalasa and sanya vipalasa. But it depends on whether that moment there is ditthi vipalasa arising with it or not. That's why some moment of akusla, there is ditthi vipalasa, akusla chitta, lobha mula chitta with ditthi at that very moment. There must be titti vipalasa too, right? At the moment of dosa, there must be sanya vipalasa and chitta vipalasa, but not titi arising together, right?
Correct, cannot arise with dosa.
Carefully, that usually vipalasa arises with akusla, depending on whether titi vipalasa arise with it or not, or just only attachment without titi, enjoying the sense object. No wrong understanding about it at all, because it's moment of when titi does not arise. How can it be titi sampayutta? Impossible. That's why there must be even lobha mula citta, some with wrong with titi and some with not titi, right? Even anusya is there, but when anusya has ditthi, anustithanusaya has been eradicated, no more titi about the truth of what appears at all in life from then on. Is that right? But still, sanya and citta vipallasa without ditthi at all, as one has become sotapanna and so on. Still, there is citta vipallasa and sanya vipallasa when akusala arises. Right?
Ka.
So we can understand what we are talking about. Moment of taking that for something permanent, like someone who study the teachings, but they say some Dhamma is atta and some Dhammas are anatta and so on. That is
Mhm.
wrong understanding. At that moment, it is titi vipallasa. But when there's kusala, no titi vipallasa, sanya vipallasa, and citta vipallasa. That's why all vipallasa has to be eradicated completely, absolutely, from being sotapanna and on, stage by stage, until no more akusala. In order to understand what attanutiti is, it's any moment like asava. Is there no titi as asava? Titasava is there. That's why in a day, who knows, the moment, 3 moments after seeing, hearing, it's I because of titasava until it has been eradicated completely. No more titasava, but there are still kamasava, pavasava, and avijjasava to be eradicated on and on. That's why to understand, before all, to understand that how it cannot be I, because it is that which experiences only of that very object and then gone. But since the characteristic of that which arises and experience is not developed at all, even hearing, what about confidence? What about that it's a truth that can be directly experienced? With panya, right understanding, little go wrong understanding, and ignorance little by little only. So, what should be known in the beginning to understand what's there, but when they do not appear, can that be known?
No,
But when
Tintin.
the moment of thinking, because of remembering, just think about that which has been remembered and depend on conditions. What sanya condition the moment of thinking about this and that? Or to understand the truth of no one there at all. Without this understanding of what is there in life, daily life, natural life, it's impossible to eradicate the idea of self. And it's there after seeing Titasava, because there is Avijjasava and Bhavasava too.
Mhm. It's still Tanajanka. This aspect of Atanu in relation to Ditti, it's not clear. So we know that both Atanu and Ditti is eradicated at Sota Patimagga. So for me, they're still a bit tangled up. The Atanu, Atanu Upadana and Dittupadana. They're still a bit somewhat confused. Can we give, there is no such Chaittasika as Atanu Ditti or Atanu Ditti Ajan. So can you help me try and sort out the difference between Ditti and Atanu Ditti? Because I understood that, so please
Okay.
continue.
As long as no understanding of Titi, it's impossible to let go Titi. And when Titi does not appear, can there be the understanding of it? That
What?
it's no one there at all.
No.
So we have to understand what about Attanutiti It's there for everyone, so natural. And when it's wrong enough about different ones, like there is someone who create or life and all, wrong understanding shows up, right? That
Yep.
is wrong. That's why the base of all kinds of ditthi is attanuditi. But when it has been eradicated, no more any kind of ditthi at all, no matter by what way or manners or idea, because of understanding the truth. That's why
So,
even when we have wrong understanding, like someone is the creator and so on, and different ideas which is wrong, there is the attanutiti, it's I,
mhm.
not
so,
yet.
so Tanajan, can we say that attanuditi is just a much more subtle form of ditti? Is that could that be said like that?
Yes, because who knows that we or anyone still have ditthi,
Cup.
because it doesn't show up at all. It's there as anusia and asava.
Cup.
But with another very strong belief of something different, like different ideas, different teachings, different sects. It is known as wrong for the wise one. But
Cup.
does he know about Attanuditi?
No, no.
That's why it's for all kind of titi. When the Attanuditi has been eradicated, no, not any titi can arise at all.
Yeah. And so, as you were saying, attanuditi is not asava or anusia. So it is a lot more apparent when, as you said before, some religions, they talk about, a creator or whatever. That is clearly attanuditi. And of course, there is bound to be in their life the anusia and the asava ditti. And that's not so apparent to us. It's a little bit clearer, Tanajan. Thank you.
I'll try adding a few words, but I'll have to stop if it gets too noisy. So when we talk about attanuditi, it's talking about the idea of someone or body. So when it's sakaya ditti, it's just referring to the wrong understanding about my body, my arm, my eyes, myself. When it's attanuditi, it includes the wrong understanding of anyone as someone or something. Anne's hair, Bev's arm. So it's the idea of something belonging to someone. And without attanuditi, without the idea of someone there cannot be any other wrong understandings. But there are other kinds of wrong view, like there's a creator, or karma doesn't bring result, or at the end of this life, there's no more rebirth. These are other kinds of wrong views, but they all stem from the idea of self, like the Buddha said, without sakaya ditti, no idea of other selves, no other wrong views at all. Everything comes back to the wrong understanding of someone here, someone there, someone in other places, and this conditions all these other wrong understandings about karma and rebirth and so on. So when we refer to ditthuppadana as opposed to attanuppadana, it's referring to other kinds of wrong views that are conditioned by attanuppadana, but it's not the wrong idea of someone, it's other wrong views like about karma or creator or rebirth and so on.
That's helpful. Thank you, Sarah.
Good topic. Sorry, it's so difficult to talk because it's very noisy in the background.
It's much more quieter now. When you initially started, it was quite noisy, but I could make it out. But it's gone quiet now. That's good.
For a moment, everything is for a moment. And on the topic of Sanya, just while there are these few quiet moments, I don't know if Bev is listening, because I remember last week she wasn't here, and Anne brought up on the topic of Sanya, the discussion they had had about lapse in memory, and it seems that Sanya is weak, and we discussed how this is conventional thinking, and Ajahn stressed, what about understanding what is here and now, rather than thinking about my memory is weak or the other person's memory is stronger, because these are actually also kinds of Atano-Ditti, taking it for someone's memory. But I don't know if Bev wanted to add anything more to the discussion on Sanya. Perhaps not. And also at the very end of the discussion last week, Azita was asking about accumulations, and I think we said we'd discuss it a bit more this time, but I don't know if Azita has anything else she wants to add on that topic. Are you there, Azita? Maybe not.
I think she is.
Phone. She could be someplace else.
Yes. She's checked in, but she's.
Never mind. Anything more on the topic of Ditti Sundara or anyone? Or Sanya?
No, I think what I will do is I'll go over and listen to it again. Your own comments, of course, Tanajan's comments, and I know after that time it won't be absolutely clear, but it'll be clear. It's like, as we know, it's a slow, little by little process, teasing out these different concepts. But I do believe they're helpful. There's no question about that for me, because I think the more sophisticated, nuanced your understanding is at that level of parayatti, it's helpful for the development of the path. So it's always useful, and we can't expect to understand everything all totally clearly all at once. It just takes time, and as the Ajahn would always remind us to continue to bear in mind the Dhamma at the level that we're able to, at the level there are conditions for, and it just takes time. It's not something that becomes totally clear, but I appreciate your comments there nonetheless.
And it also reminds us how dangerous the clinging to the idea of self, someone here, the arm, the eye, the body is, because without this wrong understanding of atta, there wouldn't be any other wrong understandings at all. So it conditions so much wrong understanding, which conditions so much wrong behavior, wrong practice, wrong livelihood, all the wrongs, all conditioned by the clinging to the idea of someone, something here and there.
Yes, totally, that's true, because it's all levels, as you said, relate to all levels of akusala that are bred so very easily by different versions of atta, and if there wasn't those, that would
it
be...
is all levels. Without the anusya, there wouldn't be the asava, and without the anusya and the asava, there wouldn't be the stronger wrong idea of someone or something. So all levels are included.
And I was just thinking that without lopa, because we know that ditti must be accompanied by lopa, and without lopa, just from sakya tithi, it cannot go on to become other ditthis. It is motivated by lopa, that there's so much clinging to all other wrong views.
That's true, Sukin. Easy to forget too that lobe, which is a condition for types of akusala.
The atasanya, because when there is the wrong idea of self, there's the atasanya, the taking for the world, taking for the people, the idea of doing something, the idea of making something happen. So the sanya that is perverted with ditthi is most serious, because it leads to all these ideas of doing something and controlling, making things happening.
I think that's a good word, Sarah, controlling behavior. Will have strong roots related to atta. And we can certainly see in the world today that we'd be better off, much better off without different types of controlling behavior.
And it's now even the idea of trying to stop the noise, trying to see this, trying to hear that, trying to understand. So whenever there's the idea of I can make it happen, I can do something, it is ataditi and atasanya at those moments. The world at this moment. Are you there, Lucas? Do you have any comments, Lucas, or just listening? Anyway, good to see you, Lucas.
Yeah, I'm here, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Good to
just
hear you,
trying to
Lucas.
listen.
Good. Very glad to know. I know Ajahn will be glad to know that you're listening as well. So
Yeah, because, I'm thinking of the present moment nowadays a little bit more than before. So we are very forgetful in life. I think it comes to all of us that, there is like infatuation in the stories and all day long daydreaming and everything. But what I'm now, my interest is more in Dhamma, and, because I don't see point of living the life like I'm living, there is like a depression or whatever, that there is no point of no enjoyment in life. Yeah. So I prefer to consider Dhamma and remember that this is now, yeah. But still there is no understanding coming or awareness or sati. Just, even at the present moment that I know that there is no knowing. So it must be like that, I assume, so.
it has to be like that, and it's like that
Yeah.
for everyone, being infatuated by different stories most of the time, taking for someone and something. Even now, like we mentioned, idea of doing, idea of controlling, idea of stopping the depression or changing the lifestyle or no awareness. So this is daily life, and it's how it has to be. But understanding can begin to understand just what appears now, even at moments of thinking about the lifestyle or thinking about the stories or thinking about the depression. It is thinking, like you say, just the present moment, just moments of seeing and hearing and thinking. And the main point, like we were just discussing, is in truth, there isn't anyone there. It's not your depression or my depression or my understanding or Ajah's understanding. They are just different dharmas arising and falling away. Nothing lasts. The thinking of depression is just for a moment and then gone. The moment of enjoyment just for a moment and then gone. And I'm sure Ajahn would like to say a little, discuss a little more with you too.
I'd just like to add that we know that depression is dosa, and dosa is the enemy that appears as an enemy, whereas lopa is the enemy that appears as a friend. So if there's no dosa, there's lopa, and people are happy and don't even see anything harmful with it.
The very, very true comments, Ken, and very appropriate. Yeah, it's very clear. I like what you said. Those was very apparent, but it's not seen as that which camouflages lopa, and we're easily seduced by lopa, whereas we don't. While we're upset, as you said, with dosa, we don't like it for obvious reasons. But it's the attachment that's the problem, and that's such a good reminder. I appreciate that.
And there can also be a lot of attachment to awareness, to having understanding, like Lucas, you mentioned no awareness. Well, most of the time that's how it has to be. And when awareness arises, it has to be unexpected, not by wishing or wanting it. So the wishing and the wanting to have more awareness or more understanding is a real obstacle. It just makes it more difficult, especially because it's taken from my awareness that's lacking, not the understanding of just that moment of thinking as it is. But I'm very glad that you're finding the Dhamma to be the refuge and the confidence that you show in the Dhamma being the only medicine that can really help all the different issues we have in life.
Are you now there, Jonathan?
Sorry, he's with the workman at the moment.
Okay, another time. I'll get him to ask him to see if he can continue what he started earlier.
We're on shifts at the moment. He's just coming in, and I'll just go take over with the workman.
Oh goodness, I'm sorry about that. Hi, Jonathan. Can't hear
Hi,
you.
Anne. Can you hear me?
I can. Thank you.
Great.
Do you remember what we were talking about?
Oh, we were talking about sanya and
We were.
sanya vipalasa and the role that sanya plays in the wrong understanding that one has, or the way things are perceived generally. And I was just making the comment that we should not have the idea that the remedy for this is somehow for there to be more awareness of sanya. It's awareness of any reality that's appearing and developing understanding in the normal way that we discuss that will bring about more right understanding generally, and will remedy the way that sanya perceives, or the way the world is perceived with the aid of sanya.
Right. It can only flow from understanding.
It can only flow from the understanding of whatever is appearing at the present moment, not selecting a particular reality, for example.
Right.
Sanya.
You'd also,
as I understand it, sanya is one of those jetasikas that doesn't really appear. But as Ajahn said, it's, and you, as you summarized her saying, sanya is very important. And perhaps that's partly why it is itself a separate khandha in the classification of 5 khandhas.
Right. You had also started to say something, Jonathan, about when we think about sanya vipalat, is not, for instance, with metta, it's, I'm sorry, my ability to express these things is declining here.
Doesn't matter.
No, is, what was it with?
I don't remember that I was going to say anything on Sanya Vipalasa generally.
No, it had to do with metta. I think it had
Yes.
to do with kusala and akusala sanya. I mean, there are times when, for instance, we have metta towards beings.
Yes.
And that
Oh, you're
kusala
referring
sanya.
to something I wrote on the list, perhaps?
No,
No.
saying earlier. That part I remember. No, it has to do with metta is directed towards other beings.
Right.
So there's in those moments, I guess, of metta, kusala citta, there wouldn't be sanya vipalasa, although the metta is directed towards other beings.
Right, other beings are the object. So
Yes.
I think this highlights the fact that the idea of another being, another individual other than oneself, doesn't necessarily involve wrong view of any kind, because what is the wrong view is the idea of a self, not the idea that there are different streams of consciousness.
Right.
Citta, citta, shika, rupa. So each stream of citta, citta, shika, rupa is distinct from all other streams of citta, citta, shika, rupa. And the label for that is a being,
Mhm.
whether it's a human being or an animal or whatever, it's still a being. And using that label doesn't have to be an indication that there is wrong view, because the enlightened being who no longer has wrong view will still talk about different people.
Yes. Yes.
Still has the idea of different individuals.
Right. Different existences. Yeah.
Yeah. Different streams of citta, citta, shika, rupa.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Good. Thank you very much for that. I've relieved you from innovation patrol or whatever.
And I was thinking, Anne, that certainly when there is a being as object, but at the moment of understanding, there is alopacetasika, whether it's beings or not. And it seems to me that would support kusala at all levels. Well, it does support kusala at all levels. So even when there is not a being there, there is still there's still our loyal alopacetasika, which must arise with all kusala cittas. So and which will support all levels of kusala.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Sundara. Azita, did you have anything you wanted to raise today?
No, I'm not feeling very well, so I'm just listening.
Oh. Okay, sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
What about others?
Sun Tran, can you talk about the another word of the sanya, just as a kana sanya that relate to the atta sanya and tira sanya?
Well, I can know
the anatta sanya.
good to hear from you, Kon Nopadon. I appreciate your questions, but I don't feel, I mean, I can translate those words. The first one you mentioned was kana sanya, is that correct?
Yes.
Well, which would be obviously momentary sanya, and I would really like to ask Adran about that. And the other one that you mentioned there was tira sanya, which Tanajan speaks of a lot, which means the firm sanya or the strong sanya that is needed or as a support for the development of deeper understanding. But other than that, I always think it's so good. It's such a good question. Tanajan Cup, could you speak to those questions that Kon Nopadon has raised? Please. Thank you, Tanajan.
About Kanasanya?
Cup.
Okay. As long as only one reality is the object of understanding, they are together. For example, right now, at moment of experiencing the visible object, only one reality is there to be known. Is there any understanding of its truth? If it's only that which cannot be taken for anything at all, because the reality, that which is visible, is there showing up as it's just a reality, nothing in it. That's why when it is something, it has to be so many reality arising together. At least 8 rupa has to be there. But when it does not appear as hardness, it's only hardness, and taste is only the taste. They are all kanasanya in the mind, taking it for the food and what taste it is and so on. That's why to understand the reality as it is, just one, it's not kana, not together at all. But when they are together as a lump, it's something with shape and form like leaf or flower or pencil and so on.
Yes, I'm appreciate that, Kun Nopadon, bringing up that point, because I'm not familiar really at all with Kanasanya, but I can see what Tanajan means, that we're always taking things in a lump or in a big, or as a whole, and that doesn't help with the development of understanding. So that's a good point to bring up. And Tirasanya, Tanajan, could you speak a little to that, please?
Tirasanya of right understanding of the truth. What appears is not as it is, right? Because they appear together as something. That's why as long as there is kanasanya, there must be the idea of something. But it depends on whether there's right or wrong understanding with it.
So
we
the
can
tira sanya is the firm right sanya conditioned by awareness that conditions the understanding of the truth. There has to be the firm remembrance of what is true of the different realities to condition the awareness and understanding. So it's like the opposite of the kana sanya, taking it for a lump or a whole. Jan, could you say a little to Lucas's point, because I'm sure he'd appreciate listening. So it's a bit noisy here, but I'll just repeat quickly. So what he was talking about how he knows it's just the present moment that's important, but usually we're infatuated by different stories, and he knows that his present lifestyle is not suitable, but he has periods of depression, no enjoyment in life, and still no awareness or not enough awareness.
As long as there is the confidence of being able to understand the truth, that can condition moment of listening or considering when time comes to understand the unnothingness of everything. This is the natural letting go, very subtle, not try to have more or try to do this and that in order to gain such and such understanding. But at moment, of whatever is there is conditioned. Without any understanding, there cannot be moment of being aware with right understanding of that which is not appearing at all. That's why it's the way it is, to understand the way it is, as it is, as it is. And why it has to be only that which appears to be studied, because it's there, ready. Its characteristic shows up as visible object. Just close your eyes, it's not there. So what is seen is only that which is visible. Only that. This is a moment of life to be understood, to have more confidence of the truth. And at moment of hearing, no one there at all. Only sound is heard because it appears there too. That which experience it, beginning to understand that that which experience is no one, and it doesn't have any color or shape or form or smell at all. But the characteristic of it is that only arises an experience. To understand the difference between Nama, the reality which experiences the object which is Rupa, and the Nama can experience anything. Thinking about this and that is not self or anyone. There are many realities conditioned to arise, to think like sanya and vitaka and citta and other citasikas. That's why in order to let go wrong understanding of taking that which appears each moment as something, it has to be beginning to understand the truth and have confidence of the truth in order to have condition for hearing more, consider more, to know that the most valuable, the most precious moment is the moment of understanding that which appears because it's there to be object of understanding, little by little. For example, if we just talk about visible object and there's no visible object, can there be the understanding of visible object? What when visible object is this very moment, it's time to understand, to consider the truth as it is. Only that which appears, only that which appears will let go the idea of something little by little. So that can be the understanding without any moment of being aware or begin to study, beginning to understand the truth. There cannot be the moment of clear understanding of that which now arising and falling away at all. The absolute truth is the Ariya Satya, so natural. But Panya is not enough to let go the other reality together, to be something the whole, but only a reality at a time. Never mind what can be known, what can be object of awareness. By conditions is there. So the path is understand more and have more confidence of anatta, no one. And this is only the truth of everything. No matter it's Nama or Rupa situation or in Thailand or anywhere at all. The truth is just like this. To have confidence, tira, sanya, of the truth. To condition moment of, it condition moment of even thinking about the truth. No one there at all. But sanya is there. And other reality are there too. But what appears can be known. When it's there but it does not appear, it cannot be known. How can it be known? Because the characteristic of that does not appear as it is. But now, seeing is a reality, arises to see. What is that? A reality which can experience an object. And at that very moment, it's not other object at all. It's only that which is visible. Even that has to be heard and considered on and on and on. We don't know how much in life to have such moment, but anything by conditions. At moment of having confidence of Dhamma, everything as a reality different by conditions arising one at a time to appear to be such and such, to be known. So it depends on how much understand of it to condition moment of understanding the truth of that which is now appearing by conditions, only that. So if there is parami, confidence, atidana, so firm of the truth, it can condition moment of the interest, little by little, of that which appears, no matter what, unknown before, what will be there next moment, unexpectedly, anatta. So the understanding of anatta is the core to understand no matter what is there, appearing. Not the same as now, but even so, whatever is known as that which experiences and the object which is experienced depending on the doorway. For example, through doorway to the idol, there can be only that which is seen, right at that very moment. Can it be known now? Not enough yet conditioned to begin to understand the truth. That's why hearing and considering the truth, little by little, no one there at all. But there is the understanding of the truth, how much understanding and how still there's ditti, attanuditi, to be truthful to the truth, can condition the understanding of anatta, not change at all, not try to do anything, but understanding even lopa is there by conditions, dosa is there by conditions. To understand anotherness is the point of learning the teachings of the Buddha, to understand the path leading to understanding more and clearer of that which is now appearing. So when there's the understanding of the reality, there can be the understanding of what is mean when he used this word, like ayatana or dhatu or paticcasamuppada, because the truth is known little by little. To understand its truth as only a reality, different at once at a time because of conditions. A little more understanding now is more than just when we begin to talk about it. Little by little, holding the knife handle, no one, only a reality by conditions, no matter it's disease, illness, happiness, or whatever is there, by conditions. And it's so short, and if the citta is unwholesome, it's useless. Condition more unwholesomeness to be there again and again, and more and more. So the understanding only which let go whatever is there as mine or me or something. As long as it appears as something, it means that the understanding of each reality is not clear enough. And at moment of being aware of the object, no idea or no thinking about other thing. And what appears next can be object of understanding, not minding about the word, what are there in between and so on, because the reality can appear clearly one at a time, one characteristic, one reality, but by way of nimitta. That's why it's so natural in life. It has to be just like this, but right understanding can be there little by little in between to understand what is there. As just as it is, hardness, see, it does not appear as one single reality yet, but one day when there's more understanding, it can condition manasikara, attention, and it depends on how much understanding of that is there to arise to be direct understanding with awareness. Another level by conditions. By then one knows that how long will it take for anything to be another level of understanding, not only pariyatti. That's why Buddha thought about what is there now that it can be known when there's right understanding. But when there's no right understanding, it's there and gone all the time. How can it be known? That's what Buddha enlightenment, to understand the reality which appears. So what appears now, see, usually no attention to the truth. So how can be direct understanding of it with direct awareness? Even it's there, it's gone when there's no understanding of it. But by conditions, it has to be like that. This is the way to develop understanding, to let go the clinging to the very subtle wrong understanding of self or something, while there's nothing to be taken because it's gone as soon as it's there. So very rapidly. So the development of right understanding is the development of letting go wrong understanding and clinging, hoping, expecting. Or by conditions, life go on as it is. See now, see a moment ago, and next moment of seeing. By conditions, is there any understanding of it or not yet? There must be conditions for ignorance and understanding for everything. By then there can be more confidence of anatta, because when awareness is there and right understanding is there, it's so no one make it arise by conditions, just pop up when it's clear enough. Because even now, everything is conditioned to arise and falls away. It's not clear. So it's not popping up by conditions unexpectedly.
Lucas, do you have any other comment or anything you'd like to add?
No, thank you, Tanajan, for this Dhamma talk. Yeah, that's very, very helpful to hear that, and more confidence it gives, it brings. The only thing you mentioned, Manasikara, because I've been thinking non-forgetfulness is sati, and the Manasikara is that attends to the moment now, yeah? And what's maybe you can say is there's at the moment when we are at the present moment, there is something, and is it Manasikara or is it sati that does not forget full reality? This is my question. Thank you.
Okay. Is there a reality which attend or pay attention to the object which is now appearing?
That's Manasikara.
Yes, it's a manasikara at moment of experiencing an object right now.
Yeah, if something is here appearing, it doesn't matter understanding or no understanding, it's something. So there must be Manasikara there.
And what about
Otherwise, it's like
vitaka?
sleep.
Is there vitaka?
Oh,
Is there
Vitaka, yeah.
phassa? Is there phassa? But they do not appear. But when it appears without understanding, it's doubt about it. But when there's understanding about everything, so whatever appears is that which has been learned before, shows up as it is. For example, feeling, see, it arises each moment. But when it's there, is there the understanding of feeling? as just a reality, even it's there now or any time when it appears as unpleasant or pleasant feelings, but no understanding of it. Even it's there here and now, so close, not far away at all. That's why Buddha enlightened the truth of what is there at any time, so close, not far away at all. Just to attend to that, to know that it's there to be known, and the truth of it is that he has enlightened whatever is there is conditioned to arise and then fall away instantly. Is that not true? And so when it's so true, it can be little by little to be clearer when there is understanding. That's why there are different levels of understanding. Intellectual understanding has to be firm or tira enough to condition moment of awareness instantly by conditions. At that very moment, no doubt about what is meant by awareness, as there's no doubt about manasikara, vitaka, and passa. It does mean that there has to be understanding of everything. That is the I thinking that way. But even they are there, it depends on what condition, whatever appears to be known. So, at moment of thinking, so many realities. There must be sanya, there must be vedana, there must be phassa, there must be vitaka, and there must be manasikara. But all are not known as it is. Why? Because no understanding of the reality, which is not self or anyone, just arise and experience. So, what about that level of understanding? Nothing is there, only that which experiences and the object as different ones, different reality, to be known a moment which consists of so many moments, but they do not appear because what appears is only the nimitta of a characteristic of a reality, because the rapidity of the arising and falling away cannot be just understanding, moment of understanding only one reality. By process that Buddha taught about, what citta arise to experience what? For seeing, it cannot just arise to see. There must be citta before seeing, and seeing arises just one moment. Thinking about seeing now, one moment of seeing, and the other citta does not see, but experience the same object while the object is there. How short it is, how brief it is. Can it be directly experienced? Impossible, because right understanding cannot just arise to understand seeing, only one single seeing. But when it's there, only one reality which experiences that which is visible, no matter how many moments. But it's that reality now which arises to see only. So the other moment is not seeing. This will condition moment of beginning to be aware, to understand just that only one reality at a time. Otherwise, they are together from moment to moment with the idea of something or I, because no understanding of the truth of what is there as it is, one by one, only one at a time. To understand what Buddha taught about citta and cetasika, how many cetasikas, how many levels of each cetasika and citta arising together, and so on. It's there in life to be known the characteristic which experiences, not just talk about it. That's why the first vipassana jhana is the clear understanding of that which appears as it is, that which experiences no shape and no form. And when it's the object of understanding, no world at all. Even at the moment of seeing, is that just the nimitta of seeing? The object is there, it's not seeing. So the understanding of that moment has to be just one at a time. to understand the visible object so very short. It cannot be taken as the whole, as something at all. And the reality which experiences it, not that which is visible, no shape and no form. Just think about it, consider it. Beyond imagination, beyond expectation, because it's not there yet. But the truth is that when it's there, no world and no thing, and that's the meaning of Buddha said, whatever arises falls away, sunyata, anatta, begin to let go, little by little, not just understanding theoretically or just the word, but it's there right now, seeing is now. That's why Opanajiko, see, all his words bring about condition, the moment of understanding, that which is so close, no one there at all, only that which sees, beginning to understand what is meant that no one and no thing, only that which sees, and that which is visible. How very brief and short it is, before it can be taken as something, different shape and form, and nimitta, because the rapidity of the succession from moment to moment condition the nimitta of something with different shape and form to be known in life. Eons and eons ago, when there's no understanding, no one can imagine what is meant by nama, that which arises to experience only and then fall away instantly. This moment or any moment, the truth cannot be changed at all. Just understand, and the understanding let go. Wrong understanding, not I or anyone at all. So without that reality which understands the truth, nothing can understand the truth at all. It can be vitaka, it can be manasikara, but without understanding of the truth. But now the words of the truth is there to be considered, that it cannot be changed and it can be directly experienced. When time comes, when there's the moment of direct awareness, so right understanding is there. Understanding what moment is satipatthana, or right understanding with right awareness, or no satipatthana, just only sati, with panya at level of intellectual understanding about what is there now so close, but it does not appear as it is yet, because no understanding of what is there as hardness only, no one and nothing, no eye, no hair, no bed, no world, only that which is hard and that which experiences that. And when the object is different, and there is awareness of that, the understanding of only that object which appears, that's why it has to be that which appears only, can be object of studying and developing the understanding of the truth. Because it's there and then gone, even right now. That's why there are so many levels of understanding. Pariyati, Patipatti, and Pativeda, different levels. That can be developed only with confidence, Satya Barami, to be truthful to the truth, and Idana Barami, firm confidence of the truth, and Viriya Barami, now it's there at moment of understanding, but it's not of other things, but of the truth. That's why it is Barami, when it's Panya, which understand the truth, with Viriya and Kanti and Nekama, to letting go, attachment and ignorance and wrong understanding of that which appears in daily life. Otherwise, when there's no understanding of it's now that it can be known, when there's more understanding and letting go, clinging to it as something permanent, little by little, because it's not there seeing all the time. So when the other moment of experiencing was just seeing a moment ago, never to return at all. Everything is like this, from life to life, eons and eons ago and now and on and on. When there's no understanding of the truth, more clinging with ignorance. So just what is that which is now appearing? The truth is that very moment is there as it is. And when something appears, it means that that moment of seeing or experience visible object is not there. But right understanding is not strong enough to let go that thinking or the sanya, wrong sanya, that is still there. Nitya sanya, sukha sanya, atta sanya. When there is the understanding of the characteristic which is now appearing, there is the understanding of what Buddha said, just about that which is now appearing, to be known as it is. Just live by conditions. No one can change the way it is. Whatever is there is by condition. Nothing to be blamed, because actually there's no one. And when there's no understanding at all, how can there be the letting go of ignorance and wrong understanding of what is there as atta, not just only oneself, but anything as something, when there's nothing to be there, when it's gone at all.
And that's a very good point, Jan and Lucas. No one to be blamed, no one to regret anything about, because there is no one. And what appears now, no matter happy feeling or sad feeling or any other reality, has to be just the way it is, as you were stressing, just as it is, just the way it is. It can't be any other way. It's just Dharma, which arises and falls away. And the sad feeling yesterday or even a moment ago, it's all gone. And now whatever appears, just the way it is. And it's only the understanding that leads to more confidence and less doubt, less concern about the way it is, less worry about not having enough awareness or having too much unhappy feeling or anything else, because the understanding conditions a confidence that it's just the way it is. And at that moment of understanding, no sad feeling, no depression at that time. And then it's gone.
Yes, Sarah, thank you very much for your kindness, and thank you, Tanajan, for explaining that very well, you know. I will be pondering over that, you know, just to understand this.
And as Sundara mentions, one needs to listen again and again, because one hears it once and then it's so helpful to listen again, and it's helpful to bring up one's points like you have, because
it's good to have a habit of studying Dhamma, you know, often, I think, you know. But nowadays, it's I'm just doing a little, as much as I can, you know, to read and study and listen, you know. But I want to, how you say, just take a refuge in the Dhamma, you know. I would like.
No expectations too. So just a little and appreciate and reflect on it can be so precious. If one thinks it should be more or it's not as much as one would like, then there's more disappointment again. So just be grateful or see the blessing that even a little, just a little when it's possible, is so helpful and beneficial. And it's, I think we all appreciate, no matter what difficulties you face, always, because there's confidence in the Dharma, you always come back to listening and considering and reflecting and appreciating what is true.
Agreed, yes.
Alberto, did you want to add anything? Speak to Lucas or bring up anything? Because Lucas always appreciates hearing from you too.
Hi, Lucas. Long time no here. Yeah, we do our best, and but it's by condition. There is no Lucas, there is no Alberto, there is no Sarah. There are just conditions. So when we start to understand that we are never disappointed about ourselves, and never disappointed about the others, and we just see the realities of things, and there's really no one, and no me, no you, and I think that's the good news when there's begin to be understanding of this even a little bit, but it's not easy. It's not it's not easy to really see the anatomness of the realities, because it's always me, it's always you, it's always somebody problem, and somebody difficulties, and somebody situations, and this really preventing all the progressing on the path. It's just being still, which is still okay because it's by condition. So we just do what we can. It's that, and we don't do what we can't either. Just listen to the right words, to the right. Yeah, that's all we can do, isn't it, Lucas?
Yeah, Alberto, thank you.
Yeah, they're wise words, Alberto. Always good to keep those in our back pocket as we move along in Dhamma. Very good. I appreciate them.
So I appreciated the comment that when there's not understanding, it's no one, not us, not others, then there's no disappointment
It's good to
in
hear
us and others.
there
Yes.
is no self, no problem, then. It's good to hear. I'm happy there is no self, to hear that, at least from the Buddha.
Yeah, but as long as there is a self, there must be problems.
Yeah, that's it. It's the good point of studying Dhamma, is to learn the anattanness, emptiness, sunyata. So, but somehow it's we always wish to have more and more, and that's craving, ain't it? Supposed to be craving.
Yeah, and we go the wrong way because of that.
Yeah.
And that's but it's still my wrong way, and so it's still it's like not the right time for understanding yet, but we just listen, and one day will be the right time, because we have listened enough, and we have considered enough, and we have understood enough. But we don't know when.
And the joy or the happiness that comes with the understanding that they are just dharmas, not you or me or anyone, is different from the joy from just following our attachments as usual. So there can be true wholesome joy when there is moments of wise reflecting or listening and considering and understanding that no Lucas, no Alberto, no one to be found at all. No one to be disappointed in, no one to have regrets about, no one to mind whether they have awareness or don't have awareness. So this is the letting go that strong clinging to the idea of self. Anyway, your points are very helpful for the discussion, Lucas. So very glad you can join.
Yes, sorry. I'm happy too that I came, you know, just I need to start again, begin again, you know, with Dhamma, you know.
And it's always begin again, no matter whether it's little or a lot of understanding, that always has to be beginning again and again.
Oh, yeah. Nice to see you, and thank you, Tanajan, for your Dhamma talk. Very good. Just gives me some motivation, and for all of us, I think, you know, helpful.
And actually, Dhamma is not far away at all. It's here and now. It depends on conditions to understand what is there or not. We do not have to do anything. We don't have to find out, go away and look for it, because it's there now and here. So it depends on understanding only, to condition moment of beginning to learn, to be acquainted with the reality, which is no one at all, no matter what is now at the moment when it appears. So there can be the understanding of what is the source and where is the source of understanding. It's now, depending on understanding or ignorance. When it's no understanding, it's ignorance. It cannot understand what is there, because wrong understanding take it for something. My body, my leg, my head. But is there leg or head? Now, if there's no thinking about it, when it's touched, it's not a head, a hair, or anything at all. It's only hard when it's touched, heat or cold, that's all. The absolute truth is that it can be known as it is, as not anything. Only that which is the reality, which is hard or soft, heat or cold, that's all to be known. No word, because it's still no one at moment of beginning to experience it. It shows up its characteristic of hardness. And the idea of something can be less and less when there is the understanding of it as just it is. Hardness cannot be anything. So they are all there now and here so close. Only depend on understanding. Whether one understand that the truth is so close, but it's so very subtle. That's why no one can force to understand it right now, but depends on understanding of the characteristic which cannot be taken for anything. With wrong understanding and ignorance of it, learning to understand it, it's there, and then gone, because at this moment of touching, hardness is there. But what about hearing? Different one. To know and to understand it actually, there cannot be two objects at a time, because only one moment of citta, it experiences only one object only. to learn a little bit more and more. And this firm understanding of Dhamma is now very close. We don't have to do or to go anywhere to find it. Can condition moment of paying attention or awareness with the idea of what has been taught and learned before to develop the moment when it's not only just thinking, but it's the studying, understanding the characteristic which is hard or soft as it's there so short. This is the beginning to understand the difference between intellectual understanding, which condition moment of direct understanding, little by little, and everything at that moment can arise by conditions. It can be doubt about it can be thinking about it, or it can be anything, but there are different realities. Learn to understand each reality as it is, to let go the idea of I see, I like, I have unpleasant feeling and so on, because it changes all the time from years and years ago. Sometimes it's pleasant and sometimes it's unpleasant. Sometimes it's attachment and sometimes it's anger. All depends on conditions. Just for a very short moment, no one at all. No me, no thing. Only different realities which can be object one at a time through different doorways. That's all. And this is moment of begin again and again to be a little different understanding added unknowingly, so subtle. But there is firm confidence of the path. It has to be like this because it's now like this, so it cannot be other way at all. And that is the patient parami with virya parami, with nekama parami, to let go the idea of self, trying to do something. And it is satya parami, to be truthful to the truth, with confidence, adidana parami. Without parami, right understanding cannot develop. It needs all kinds of akusala to let go the collection of so much ignorance and akusala. So naturally, from moment to moment, and that is life, which are realities, different realities by conditions, from birth to death, this life, next life, other life. So one can see the very precious moment of understanding, which is en route, implanted, so firm, little by little, from moment to moment, not just this life, it continue on by conditions. And I think that everyone has a little more understanding from the talking about it. From the beginning up to this moment and continue on by conditions. And that is the most precious in life, moment in life. Firm confidence, adidana, to be truthful to the truth. No other way. That's why Buddha said that the all Four Noble Truths are so very subtle, and the path is the fourth of the truth, Noble Truth.
Thank you, Ajahn. Very,
สวัส
very
ดี
well
ค่ะ
appreciated a lot.
ครับ
Sawadika.
Very much
See you,
appreciated.
see you next week.